Well, today the weather's a good deal brighter. It's a day of sunny spells and showers. However, there are still concerns about flooding. Look at this. This is the River Severn coming out and flooding low-lying ground. And we've got lots of flood warnings still in force. 82 across England. The majority of these are actually for stretches of the River Severn. And we've got more heavy rain just around the corner. On the satellite picture, this area of developing cloud, an area of low pressure, is going to bring a return of heavy rain tonight and into tomorrow. Could cause some further problems. Even in the south, 7 or 8 degrees. That's some of the lowest temperatures we've seen so far this year, but it gets even colder than that into next week. Now, we do know quite a bit about next week's weather. We know it's going to be a lot colder. We know there's going to be widespread frost and some ice. We know there'll be showers that'll be falling to snow, even down to low levels.
Good afternoon. We've at least seen a little bit of winter sunshine today. You can see here in Camden earlier some patchy cloud, but that's about all we've had to contend with today. It is going to stay largely dry with some sunshine this afternoon, but it's still pretty windy. The wind perhaps not quite as strong as it was first thing this morning, but still blustering.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. Well, finally a chance to recover today. Plenty of sunshine, but stand by for more turbulent times through the weekend. So those strong winds will be back, spells of heavy persistent rain, and thereafter actually temperatures really take a knock into the early stages of next week.
Good evening to you. Well, a ridge of high pressure today brought us a brief respite from the rain. However, there's more wet and windy weather expected to move through tonight. So if you have any concerns for where you're living, particularly across the south and the west of the UK, you can head online to check out all the latest flood warnings there. Now, through the weekend, the rain will gradually clear away, certainly on Saturday, and then it turns brighter with a few showers part 2 of the weekend, but things will be turning much colder.
It's actually a really nice dry day today.
A nice brief respite from the rain.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
We've got more rain to come, though.
Oh,
good evening to you. Overnight, it's turning very much wetter. Wet and windy weather conditions moving in. But as we move through the weekend, the weather really will change. It's going to feel very different. By the time we reach Sunday, it's going to be turning a lot colder. We could even start to see some wintry showers, maybe some snow in places and some ice into the start of next week.
Time for the weather now, and as we've just been hearing about the impact of flooding across parts of the UK, Becky is here. And Becky, it's been really awful for a lot of people, hasn't it?
It really has. January is definitely living up to its reputation of being the thoroughly most miserable month of the year. And it does feel like it's been endlessly wet and windy. If you feel that, you would be absolutely right. It's not just the West Country that have seen a very few wet weeks. Totals are up right across the UK, bearing in mind that these numbers should be at around 35%. It illustrates just how wet it's been so far this year. And we're only in mid-January. I'm expecting the value for Northern Ireland as well to be going up this weekend. More heavy rain moving in for you, specifically tomorrow night. And as we've already seen with that amount of rain falling in such a short space of time, those rivers are, of course, struggling to cope. This is the current picture from the Environment Agency. Across the UK as a whole, we've got 91 flood warnings, 176 flood alerts. But as you can imagine, it is an ever-changing picture. And with more rain to come tonight for all of us, it's definitely worth taking note of the floodline numbers 0345 988 1188. So it's been wet, really wet for some, but it's also been really windy and persistently so. Just yesterday, 82 miles an hour was recorded at Brisley Wood in Northumberland, and widely we had gusts in excess of 45 miles an hour. Why is this happening? Well, it's down to a barrage of deep areas of low pressure rattling in from the Atlantic. Typical January weather, but this year there's been far less respite in between those areas of low pressure. So it's going to be wet and windy for many this weekend, and it gets cold as well. Now, it's not going to be an appalling weekend, but it's certainly going to be relatively lively, and it's certainly going to be wet and windy right across the UK as we look ahead to tonight. So here is our weather menu for the weekend. Heavy rain clearing away on Saturday. Then it's a mixture of sunny spells and showers. It's windy throughout and increasingly cold as well. So it is going to take time for those temperatures to tumble away on Sunday. But into next week, it turns cold, potentially wintry hazards. Some uncertainty. Stay up to date.
Big coat out again. Becky, thank you.
OK.
Hello again. We've seen a drier, sunnier kind of day today with not as much rain around. But despite the drier weather, Well, we've still got cause for concern in terms of flooding. This was a picture from the Powys Hills. You can see flooding of low-lying fields, I think caused by the River Severn. Lots of flood warnings in force, and the majority of these are for stretches of the River Severn.